Hello friends, it's Armstrong here from Other Miniatures, and today we are working on the scrapyard build, junkyard build, whatever you want to call it. So in the rules we put that it's supposed to be at least 6 by 6 inches. That was my idea because I wanted to build something a bit bigger. And my one is just, well, this is not an inch measure. Let me grab the one with the inches on it. As you can see, I'm prepared. I have ton of crap on my desk. Yeah, but my one is roughly 10 by 10. I was thinking about 12 by 12, but then I was like, I gonna overdo it again. I don't gonna finish it in time, and so on and so forth. And to be honest, today is 13th, almost 14th, because it is after 11 o'clock in the night. I was trying to take a good nap, and obviously it didn't work because why would ever my plans work out? So yeah, let's just start building and see what we can do. So first of all, I have this trailer. Yeah, I bought those back when they were in the pound shop for like 150 or two quid, either or. Yeah, and I think that I used one of those trailers ever for anything, and I think that I bought like 4 of them. So we're gonna use this for one of the walls of the junkyard. So obviously they are like open doors that you can open in here, but we don't gonna be using them, and we're gonna be using this just as parked. So I want to just make the perimeter like most of the junkyards would have. Yeah, of course it is gonna be quite small because 10 by 10 inches. If you want to build a proper junkyard, you would have miles of stuff. So yeah, just small one. Let's start from this. Yeah, so I have this super glue that I never really use because it is those big bottles can get messy very quickly, but I think that this one gonna work for me today because there's gonna be so much super glue used that eventually the small bottles would start building small piles on my desk. So yeah, this is the first part, and then the second thing I was thinking about was to make a kind of a storeroom. Yeah, so I'm just thinking this can of boost, yeah, is kind of perfect as some sort of old silo or something, so you can attach it like this. Yeah, it's gonna start creating our second wall, and we can cut in like an entrance and just bend it up, and of course bend it down so it's gonna be flush with the ground. And that's gonna be our like quite often on the junkyards they have these places where the guys are storing parts that are valuable and stuff like that. Like, I gotta be honest, I haven't ever been to the proper junkyard as you see in the movies. I've been to a couple of them to drop like some metal scraps when I was younger, but not to the ones like in American movies where you have miles and miles of cars. Yeah, so my experience with the junkyard is probably a bit different than other people. And look at that, I glue it crooked like always. Yeah, let's give it a try. And now, so what I'm thinking, just a little bit of cut in here, and then cut in here. Let's just start it. It's gonna be probably a worst cut ever, but it's just me. I never cut straight, so it is gonna be interesting. So that's, I think, gonna be the flap for the bottom, and then we're gonna get this going upwards. That's gonna give us a sort of an awning over the scrap pile. Yeah. So there we go. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if you can see it from the top, but basically just do it like that. Yeah, I don't gonna be doing much of a terrain building inside. Maybe I'm gonna throw some crates or something, just to kind of cover the hole. Definitely just gonna spray paint inside with black, so it's gonna make it easier on me. I don't gonna have to think about filling it up. So just a little bit of super glue, yeah, like always. My favorite little bit. Yeah, which means that it's gonna be all soaked in. And obviously, from now on, when I'm working on this, I have to be careful because one jab into that and I have my finger bleeding. Which, again, not a great idea to have bleeding fingers when you are working on stuff. So, these cars, yeah, this is like this, one of those hover drone cars. And for a long time, I didn't know what to do with it. But now I know it's gonna be part of my scrapyard, part of one of the walls. It's gonna come in here, so just gonna toss a little bit of super glue. And surprisingly, when I say little in this case scenario, it is quite a little bit. Yeah, because I don't really need more. And then I can throw this chassis on top. Yeah, and that's gonna give us quite decent looking sidewall. You know, like I could put it maybe with a little bit more of finesse, like this. Yeah, that actually look decent. So I'm just gonna try, you know, and probably fail to apply super glue in places where I think it's gonna touch each other. But it's probably gonna be quite hard to get this connected correctly. But there we go, that's another piece that I have. And then I have this piece of a pipe that it's I used this in some build, I don't really remember it which one. It was just a, you know, bent pipe. But I'm thinking putting it in here, that's gonna give me another piece of scrap that's gonna look decent, and I can hide this Marmat writing underneath it. And you know, when we're gonna be putting some sand on top, it's gonna be another thing that we can do. So there we go, we are building the perimeter around. And I'm not thinking, when I'm thinking in here about scrapyard, I'm not thinking, like I said, miles and miles of cars. I'm thinking more kind of selective scrapyard. So we're gonna have a car for the scrapyard, we're gonna have this bulldozer for the scrapyard, and then we're gonna think about other stuff. Yeah, but those two are definitely part of the build, part of the, you know, supply chain in here. And of course we need to have someone to be sitting in there, so this guy gonna need a little bit of cleanup, a little bit of paint. Yeah, because I completely forget where I have the rest of those guys, and that's the one that I could find that is sitting down. Yeah, and those minis, I bought them so long ago that I don't even remember what they were called. Yeah, but you know, I still have few of them, and this one is perfect. You know, they are a little bit small in my opinion, but you know, small isn't bad. Let's just put it aside. And now, what I wanted to do next, I have this kind of barrier from one of those cheap little sets. And I'm like, why don't use it just as a, you know, another piece of blocking part? And of course, we're gonna fill this up a little bit more, but this is gonna be like a boundary line. So yeah, let's just do a little bit of gluing. And you know, I'm very sparing with the super glue today. I don't know, I must be sick or something. Yeah, so we have this, and I know that I have more ideas. I have this scoop, whatever, yeah, just, you know, tipper part. I have this giant engine, which definitely we're gonna put somewhere. But yeah, I have this from the, this was part of a, what do you call it, soap pump. Yeah, so let's just put it on. It's right now just, you know, attaching stuff to this, so it's gonna be not very interesting, but you know, it has to be done if I want to finish this build one day. And I have only 2 days because, like I said, it's almost 14th. And I'm just thinking, you know, where I have this barrier, obviously, again, cheap toy, yeah, and I would love to remove all of those paper pieces, but that's probably gonna be a nuisance. So I'm thinking if I want this more in front of the front gate, front entrance, because then we can make the, you know, like a road in, and then maybe a parking space for the two company vehicles in here. Yeah, or you know, maybe more to one of the sides, maybe corner. Yeah, because that would actually make the road going in looking more interesting. So that's another decision that I have to make. And I have this piece of 3D printed terrain, and it is like a modular terrain. And I'm just thinking about just plopping it on the ground and maybe putting some cars on top of it, so it looks like they maybe scavenge, or maybe there is a bunker underneath or something. Yeah, like just a lot of ideas, probably not enough time to realize all of them in one build. But yeah, I think that this is like not a bad idea. Yeah, like you can see, this is jammed with like a piece of pipe, and don't worry about the fur. I am, I am a dog daddy. It's not all from my beard. Yeah, I'm not getting so bald yet. So just okay, I just smacked my finger with the clippers somehow. I have no clue how. Oh, that was painful. So yeah, I can just smack it somewhere. I'm thinking like here, and then I can put some scrap cars on top of that. This pipe is sticking out a little bit too much, and obviously, all of those little parts are sticking out, but I just try to, sorry, I'm just clipping stuff out, so maybe it's gonna be holding better with the super glue. But the main part is gonna be holding is probably this little rim around the door, and maybe this. So I just put it in here. That's gonna be next kind of texture element of this build. And when I starting talking like that, people are thinking that I know what I'm doing, but I don't. So now next, maybe those barrels as a decoration for the front of the shack. Oh, there you go. I found the right word. Shack. That's a shack. Not Shack O'Neal by any chance, just normal shack. And then I have those cheap cars that I got with the transporter, one of the transporters I bought in Poland. I didn't post the video just yet because obviously I have backlog and I never edit them and I never post them. So we're just gonna smack it in here on the top, as one of the wreckages. Like I could probably remove the windows and it would look more like wreckage, but it just seems like a lot of work. So we have a next thing, then I can probably use this as a part of a scenery. I just want to use up all of those little cheap plasticky toys because I paid for them and I would never ever use them otherwise. So let's just give them life in my scenery pieces. And I'm just thinking that maybe this corner approach is the best. It's just, yeah, I think that this is the place where it's going to be standing. So I just gonna glue it, and then we're gonna be thinking about filling up the gaps. The original idea was to put it in here, but it actually makes sense as well, because if I'm gonna want to make a road, yeah, I'm gonna do it in here. I'm gonna go with the original idea. Just if I want to make a road, it's gonna make it easier to make the access to this place. Yeah, so there we go. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself, but what can we do? And now, what next? I need some other scrap. I do have already like a couple of cars ready for this. I have this sign, something that I can just plop, as a piece of maybe armoring the front. And a lot of those signs gonna be literally just plop in as a part of the fence, because I think that it's gonna just look accurately for the build, just fitting into the scenery. We can plop this probably over here. It's gonna give us another piece of road kind of scenery. Believe me, I think that I want to say that I know what I'm doing, but I know that I don't. So yeah, let's just plop this in here. We're just gonna give it a little bit of super glue on the back just to make it stay in place. It's gonna just give us another little bit of something interesting. Come on, stay, 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 stay. There we go. Now I have, like, barrels. I have some crates that I 3D printed ages ago, and they've been sitting in the boxes for ages. I really need to start using stuff that I already have printed instead of printing new stuff. But I'm gonna be honest, I haven't printed new stuff for like 6-7 months now, so I need to clean my resin 3D printer and start printing stuff for more builds because I'm running out of some stuff. So yeah, kind of a contradiction. I need to use it up, but I need to print out more. Now, what else? I have this little palette that I built ages ago and never used for anything. And we have another, oh, you see, I have in here like a pile of different junk. I have another little sign. It is like emergency, whatever. It's gonna be obviously painted, so we're gonna use it to start to fill the gap a little bit more. So like this, yeah. We have another stop, one way. No, do not enter, one way. That actually kind of works as a boundary here. Obviously, again, it's gonna be painted, so you're not gonna see the writing on it. But let's build the perimeter. Once we build the perimeter, I can think about the rest of it. And then when we're gonna be gluing the sand, it's gonna kind of, fix the rest of it. So I have this card, and I really don't like it. Yeah, I know that some people find it kind of cool, but I don't. I got it in a box of something, and I really don't like it. It is, it's not bad per se, but it isn't good. Yeah, so let's just see if I have something. Oops, I have much more cans prepared for this build, so I'm just looking for clippers which are relevantly bad. Okay, those ones are. Okay, we snap this front bar, and we can put another pile of cars maybe over here, like one on top of the other, so this looks a little bit higher. I can just cut this off a little bit more. I could probably use it as a company transport car or something, but I really I don't enjoy this car by itself. So yeah, let's give it a life as a part of this diorama. And I hate those little wheels. Yeah, I don't understand why they use them, but I still hate them. So yeah, just my complaint about I'm Polish. I need to complain, otherwise I would be sick. Yeah, so there we go. Just I live in Ireland. I'm Polish. Both of the nations' national sport is complaining. So yeah. All right, next one done. Now we have this gap in here that I have to fill up with something, and I have this military special forces sign. I can put it in here. It's gonna do not really much, yeah, because anything can sneak down over here, any kind of zombie. But it's gonna give us another eye line blocker in front. And usually, when you think about different places, especially scrapyards, they're gonna have quite high walls, especially like in Poland and places like that. So people cannot just jump them, and grab whatever scrap they want. Come on. So this was part of some sort of a build, I don't remember what, but it is damaged well enough and looks scrappy enough that I can use it as a part of the wall. We're just gonna smack it over here. Yeah, just being put against the rest of it. Now. You know what? I'm gonna switch to montage because otherwise this video gonna be 19 hours long. After a little bit of assembly, you can see that I managed to build something. Yeah? Most of that stuff is holding quite well. And when I was looking, how we can set up the cars in the future, of course the bulldozer can be put in here as a blocker, if necessary, but it can be parked as well in this little gap, either this way or this way. Then our drag, this car can be parked in here, yeah, or maybe even like this. And then we can get like another car, just standing next to it. There's gonna be space, to reverse, to travel. So it is decent size. Could be a little bit bigger, yeah. But yeah, it's not for the cars yet. The paint is still kind of drying, so yeah, I just painted it first black to obviously cover all of the holes that were in between. I added some sand that I didn't film because it is boring, it takes ages. You can still see probably in here, but in the doorway it is still quite wet. So what I want to do first is do a little bit of, a lot of dry brushing on all of the metallic surfaces. So everything that is junk, yeah. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna use probably some sponging to add some colors to other pieces. So let's go with the painting montage because that's gonna be boring as hell. So at this point, this looks fairly bad, yeah? Let's be absolutely honest. What are they gonna do? I'm just gonna grab sponge and just gonna try to paint this with a sponge. So, pretending that they are like flakes of old paint still here, that paint is so watery. I didn't use it in ages and I thought that I mixed it correctly, but clearly something is wrong. Yeah, but you can see the idea in here, but the sponge is not supposed to be giving it full coverage, just partial coverage, like it still gives it a lot of paint. We'll see how it's gonna turn out. This is my first experiment painting this way, so yeah, let's hope that after drying it's actually gonna look good, because this paint is fairly transparent, so it should turn out very see-through, I would say. Well, transparent, see-through, whatever, the same word really, just different way of using it. Yeah, so there we go, that's our blue paint. Now I'm just thinking, what color to paint this. I think that red would be nice contrast to blue, obviously. I just need to open my paint chest. It's gonna be a challenge to find the right red paint. Like, I have some of the contrast ball red. I think that I might use this. It is actually a very decent red color. I don't know how it's gonna work with sponging, because at the end of the day it is contrast. It's not bad. It is a contrast paint. So as you may notice, I have the entire thing on the spin table. One of those plastic ones. I bought like a twin pack for a tenner. But when you are working with a bigger model and you want to just add the details around it, it's so helpful. So yeah. Because I don't have to go around like crazy, I can just turn it and yeah, right now it is, instead of just being sponging like it should be, it is literally just painting with a sponge. I don't know whether you can see it or not. But I'm trying new techniques, yeah? Let's at least be positive about that. I think that I can do a little bit on that pipe as well. Okay, let's put it to the side. So now the next thing I'm gonna have to do is to pick up all of the tires with black, which is an annoying process because there is a lot of them. We have tires on all of the cars, we have tires on the trailer, we have plenty of tires put in here, so that's gonna be a lot of tilting this backward and forward, and then I'm gonna have to yeah, that's I don't want to subjugate you to that, so I just gonna do it off screen. Alright friends, so it is finished. As you can see, I did paint the cars. Just first I put the brown, then a orange, and then quick dry brush with the metallic. Yeah, and on the bulldozer exactly the same treatment, but I did tape the blade with the masking tape, which, you know, after ripping this off, when it dried off, it was a bad idea. It should be ripped off when it is still wet, then you don't tear the paint apart. Yeah, but it is done and dusted. I was thinking about throwing this on the spin table, but obviously the spin table, the mechanical one, would be too fast for this. So let's have a look what we have. We have our gate, which is kind of opening, kind of closing. I'm still thinking about maybe putting some writing in here, but that's another thing to do. We have our entire scrapyard. We have, of course, our scrapper car. We have our, what do you call them? I completely forgot. The one that to pull the other cars. We have the bulldozer to push stuff aside. And then we have a couple of wrecks and, you know, a lot of that little bit of the road sign, you know, things. And you can probably see what I did actually for a change. Use some tops, some grass tops. Not overwhelming, not too many of them, because I thought that would be kind of annoying. But, you know, one little fun thing, you know, there is a piece of grass growing inside of the wreck. So yeah, there we go. And we have them, you know, all over the place, you know, just like in here, for example, just sticking out from under the wheels. I'm just thinking that even in wastelands, you know, there's gonna be some sort of greenery, you know, showing up. So yeah, there we go. That's the video. I'm absolutely thrilled with how it turned out. Yeah, unfortunately my laptop is in the repair store, so it's gonna be a couple of days before I'm gonna have this all edited, so I'm gonna be late. As you can see, those little grass tops, a little bit of green, a little bit of red, it really helps with adding a little bit blast of color into something that otherwise would be metallic and very brown and orange. And if you look at this entire thing, that thing, it turned out crap. Yeah, after I applied that bluish paint, it really turned out crap. So I just did a little bit of stippling with the metallic paint, then I washed it with the black wash, well, black brown mix. I literally just mix it water with a little bit of poster paint. I did the same with this, and as you can see, I did put a couple of streaks of paint just going down, yeah, which kind of works fairly well, and as well, I stippled some metallics in here just to clear it up a little bit. But yeah, there we go. This is all done and dusted. Once I have my laptop back, I'm gonna edit it and post it. So, if you like this video, you know what to do. Rate, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and whoever wants to watch it. And everyone have a great day and take care. Bye bye.